Hey gamers and retro enthusiasts, welcome back to 8-Bit Game Endings, where we dive into the pixelated finales of your favorite classic games. Today, we're venturing into the magical realm of Hyrule as we uncover the ending of The Legend of Zelda for the NES. Grab your swords and shields. Let's get into it. Released in 1986 by Nintendo, The Legend of Zelda is a classic action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES. Released in 1986 in Japan and 1987 in North America, it is often hailed as one of the most influential games of all time. The game has spawned numerous sequels and spin-offs, becoming one of Nintendo's most beloved franchises. In the timeless land of Hyrule, darkness looms as the evil sorcerer Ganon has stolen the Triforce's power and imprisoned Princess Zelda. With his newfound power, Ganon threatens to plunge the kingdom into chaos. To save Hyrule and rescue Zelda, a brave young hero named Link embarks on a perilous quest. Armed with only a wooden shield and sword, Link must explore a vast, open world filled with hidden secrets, dangerous enemies, and challenging dungeons. His journey takes him through a variety of terrains, including forests, caves, and mountains. Throughout his adventure, Link collects pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom that Princess Zelda scattered across the land to thwart Ganon's plans. He confronts fearsome bosses in each dungeon, acquiring powerful items and weapons such as the bow, bombs, and eventually the legendary Master Sword. The game world is an open overworld filled with secrets, enemies, and various terrains. Players explore multiple dungeons scattered throughout the world, once you find them, of course, each containing puzzles, enemies, and a boss at the end. The objective is to collect the items, solve the puzzles, and defeat dungeon bosses to progress to the next. The Legend of Zelda introduced us to a sprawling adventure full of dungeons, puzzles, and, of course, the iconic Triforce. By the time you reach the end, you've battled through treacherous dungeons, solved intricate puzzles, and faced off against menacing bosses. So how does this legendary journey wrap up? After conquering the final dungeon, Death Mountain, after locating it, and overcoming the evil Ganon, you finally reach the ultimate showdown with the Dark Sorcerer, which we'll see momentarily. Obviously, having full hearts makes the game easier to play, as you're able to launch your sword at a great distance, killing your foes, and therefore protecting your life force. But don't get too cocky, because even with range distance, you're still able to mess up and accidentally lose a heart, unintentionally. I remember when I first came across these particular foes, I didn't think anything of it at the time. And sure enough, they gobbled my shield, and I didn't know at the time that I had lost my shield until all of a sudden I realized, why are fireballs constantly hitting me when before they weren't? And then I had realized, oh, I lost my shield. Well, how did that happen? The ghosts are probably my least favorite foes. They're easy until they're in line with you, and then they're constantly firing at you. And half the time I keep forgetting, don't attack back, because then you're not shielding yourself. So I tend to lose most of my life force from ghosts. But as you can see from the walkthrough, aside from the ghosts, there isn't too much difficulty out there. It's straightforward, clear a room, move forward, clear a room forward. And even then, half the rooms you don't have to clear. You can circumvent the enemies, bomb your walls, or circumvent them, just go through the keyed doors, just to progress faster and faster. Now, when you get the wand upgrade that also expends fire at the end, there has been numerous times where I accidentally walk into my own fire and lose hearts. It's so frustrating and just so stupid of myself. When you first play the game, of course, you also don't realize, spoiler alert, that there is a world B. So as you're continuing and progressing through the game and you finally reach level 9, you're ecstatic. You're getting to the end of another game. It's taken you 10 hours. So well worth it, because a lot of the other Nintendo games you play, 30 minutes you can pass a game, 2 hours you can pass a game. But this one, you've put a lot of heart and soul into it, a lot of hours. You've died constantly to get to those saves. And now you're at level 9. You're near the end. And you're just going at it, having fun. And of course, this dungeon is the largest of all the dungeons. So the boss is hidden well deep inside the depths, staying away from the hero of the game. I remember in my youth, when I first got to level 9, I would be able to probably complete 4 or 5 rooms, and then I would have to use one of the medicine bottles. And I would progress another 4 or 5 rooms, and again, I would need to use a medicine bottle. And then I would have to leave the dungeon completely, buy a new set, come back in, and hope I was able to bypass as much of those first 10 rooms in order to see what the next 5 rooms would be. And again, I would constantly using medicine bottles. So level 9, when I was, 6, 7 years old, was tough. It was a hard game. It's fun, but it was hard. Fast forward 30 some odd years later, and as you can tell, this is not a flawless walkthrough. I am getting hit. I am messing up on the controls. Sometimes I want to go left and I'm going up. I want to hit a bat, but I throw the boomerang instead of the sword, and then I get hit because I was doing the wrong attack. It is what it is. But once you get this red ring, it's such a game changer. You take so little damage, it's not even funny. You're able to just go through the dungeon rooms so much more easier, faster, and with a lot more confidence in your non-existing skills as a player. Ganon is no pushover, but with your courage and the power of the Master Sword, victory is within reach. With a few well-placed strikes, you just gotta really watch his pattern so you know where he's actually moving even though invisible. Ganon falls, and Princess Zelda is finally freed from her dark prison. This is where the story takes a magical turn. The ending sequence unfolds with Princess Zelda coming to thank Link for his heroic deeds. The classic 8-bit graphics might seem simple by today's standards, but the sense of accomplishment and relief is palpable. The game wraps up with Zelda recognizing Link as a true hero. The credits roll, and as the familiar theme plays, we're left with a sense of nostalgia and triumph. The Legend of Zelda not only set the standard for future action adventure games, but also left a lasting legacy that continues to inspire gamers around the world. An epic ending for a game that has become a cornerstone of gaming history. And when you get to that very end and it lets you know that, hey, there's another quest from here? Mind blown. If you enjoyed this look back at The Legend of Zelda, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more 8-bit game endings, and let us know in the comments which classic game ending you'd like to see next. Until next time, keep on gaming and stay legendary.